Hello and welcome back. So at the end of last episode I talked about how we were going to decorate the place a little bit more, make things more Connect theme-wise and other things, but I've actually changed my mind a little bit. Hopefully people are okay with that. So instead of working on mainly building this episode, I actually want to create a redstone contraption I already made in creative mode to make sure it would work and I could actually do it. But it's a way to store a lot of one item or multiple items, not even just one item. It's multiple items. So like large storage system, right? Compared to like just having a bunch of chests with a bunch of random stuff. It's like things I have a lot of, like cobblestone, right? I want to be able to store it in one area, and then I also want to grab a bunch of it whenever I need it to like build with the cobblestone. So that's the kind of contraption I got. So the idea is that it's going to store a bunch of double chests full of the material, and then it's going to also have a like wall of levers that you can pull to decide how many of that item you want. And because we're doing mass storage, it's going to be in stacks. So you tell it how many stacks you want, and then you push a button, and it dispenses it out and flows down some water streams and comes out to you. And it's going to be pretty cool as long as I can replicate it properly. And there's a couple things that I didn't finish up on it. Like I didn't do a sorting system into the double chest, but there's common sorting systems online that I can probably get, and there's one other thing that I didn't quite finish up, but I'm pretty confident about. So the hardest parts about it I've already done in creative. I'm pretty much just going to be copying it over, maybe shifting things around a little bit so they are more compact. But we need a place to put it, and currently we have some underground stuff. We've got this tunnel over here, we've got this tunnel over here, kind of connecting down in this underground system, connecting up our mob farms. So I was considering putting our like mass storage system underground. But if we put our mass storage system underground, we're going to be more underground than above ground, and all of a sudden everything's going to be start being underground, and then we're never going to be above ground anymore, and we're going to neglect building things up here. So my theory is we got to build it somewhere up here, and we don't have much area left on this peninsula. And since I already don't like this building too much, we may be getting rid of it for our main storage system anyways. So what I was thinking is we just build it over here in this little area. We do need quite a lot of space because it's pretty big. I didn't make it all that compact, even though I'm going to try to compact it a little bit when I copy it over. We'll get rid of these trees, we'll clear out this hill a little bit, pretty it up. I need to pretty up this whole area, really. If you notice, there's a whole bunch of just random blocks, like that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. I think these guys are also, they're all Endermen. Endermen keep on moving blocks. It's real annoying. Just look at all these. It makes it look terrible. And they take it out of random spots, so the hill doesn't look quite right. Like, this doesn't look normal. And then also there's like some weird caves that kind of made their way through here, and weird water spots and other things, and the whole landscape just needs to get changed. I've considered actually installing one of those, not mods, but the data packs that gets rid of Enderman grabbing stuff. But I don't know about that, because then that's not purely vanilla. I know it's like still mostly vanilla, because that'd be the only thing we'd be changing, but still, it just doesn't feel right. So I'm just going to deal with these Endermans moving things for right now, and if I continue to get annoyed after I've done whatever, then maybe I will. I don't know if someone else has opinions on that. Share it in the comments. But I'm going to start copying it over. Definitely not going to share the video of me copying it over because it's going to be hectic. And I'm going to try to have it open in another window, and it's going to be bad. But I'm going to try to explain it once I get it done. And you guys will see how it works, and hopefully it'll be kind of cool. I am back, and I'm done with a almost finished product here. The reason why I'm showing you guys this before it's done is because I'm a little stuck on this sorting part. So like I said, I had built most of this already in creative, but the only part that I hadn't done was the sorting and putting into the storage, pretty much. So sorting it itself is pretty easy. You just build like a basic sorter, right? This little mechanism, and you have like filters and stuff. So only like warped blocks would come into here, or only cobblestone would come into here. The problem I'm having is equally distributing it because this is where the items will come up. They come up here. If they go into like this one, they'll always go into this one first before they go into this one, which means they'll always fill up this chest more than the other one, and so there'll never be an even amount when it's trying to pull them out later. So I've been trying to figure that out, and also because of how many items I'm putting into the stream at once, you need like a lot of these filters, so there's just a lot going on here that I'm a little bit struggling with, but I can at least show you most of the product here, right? Most of the machine. So this is where you'll actually stand in the room. Obviously the walls aren't up yet. It's kind of chaotic with all the redstone and stuff. I'll clean it up all later when I'm finally done. But over here is the wall where you actually request how many items you want. So you've got 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. It's like a binary sort of thing. And this is actually per stack. So this is 1 stack, this is 2 stack, this is 4 stack, 8 stack, 16 stacks. And then you can actually combine it. So if you want just 1 stack, you just flip that down. If you want 3 stacks, you flip that down. If you want just 2, you just flip that. If you want 5, then you would do, this. So you could do any number all the way up to all of these combined. I don't know exactly what that is, but if you were to flip them all, then you could get the max amount of items. And then over here is actually what you request, what you're asking for. So you can request multiple things at once if you want. So if you want both cobblestone and warped blocks and have this many of them, then you can put all this in here. For right now, I don't think we even have that much in here. I don't have any warped blocks currently in storage, and I only have a little bit of cobblestone. So let's just start with cobblestone just to show you how it works, and let's just do a stack because I don't have enough for any more, and it's also going to take a little bit of time. So first of all, I should explain a little bit. So the reason why we have 2 rows of double chests, which is what this whole sorting system is getting confuzzled on, I guess, or whatever, is so that we can put hoppers underneath both double chests, and then we've got droppers down here. So we're actually shooting out 4 items at a time when we're dispensing out. That means it's going to be a pretty fast dispensal system, because that obviously is what you need if you're, requesting 16 stacks of an item. You want to get those items out of the storage system as fast as you can. So 4 items per, not tick, because it's not quite a tick. It's however fast a hopper sucks it out. And here, let me just show you how it works, and then I'll explain it a little bit after we do a first test run. So we've got it on 1 stack right now. We've got it on cobblestone. Over here is the request button. Push this. Here's some stuff going on in the background, maybe. You can hear the droppers going off like crazy over here. And they're actually coming up. I don't think I have any cobblestone in my inventory currently. So if I come over here, pick it up, we've got exactly a stack. And if we actually get rid of this, 'cause there's like nothing left over here. And it's just a bubble stream coming up from down below, if you're wondering. But let's look at this side first. How about, because this is the most complete side. Over there is a little finicky with the storage and everything currently. But let's start with the button, okay? So the button, we want it to turn into like a lever signal, if you kind of get what my meaning. Like instead of just a pulse, like a button normally is, we want it to turn it on permanently until it gets off permanently. So up over here with a little dropper into a hopper into some droppers, it makes it into pretty much a lever signal. So it's going to move the item. I think it's over here. It's going to eventually move it. And then once it's in there, it's giving out a signal permanently. But then when you give it another pulse, then it's going to move the item back to over here, and then it won't give a pulse. So it turns it in sort of like a lever signal. So this, when it's on, it sends the signal down, and it gets pulled out 2 ways. So it goes down over here, and it goes to the right, and it goes to the left. To the right over here is going into these little units that are for the, like, item amounts. If we get up a little bit, if we can somehow get out of here, we can actually go over here and see the units a little bit better. So the reason why the lights and levers and stuff are all 2 blocks apart, or 1 block in between, but like 2 blocks wide, is because of the like mechanism that I'm using to actually count the stacks. Because they're mostly like this one block area, but then they've got this little in-between part that goes into the next one. So that's why we need the space here. So the signal, god dang it, we can just do it down here. So the signal comes in over here. It's going to come out into this next repeater over here, but currently it's locked. That's because we have the lever flicked. If we look at the one over to the right of it, this one doesn't have its lever flicked, so it's not locked. And the only way to unlock it is for the items in this hopper over here to move all the way over here. So when the buttons gets pushed, not only is it trying to get through over here, but it's also releasing the items from here to in here. So it's only going to let the signal through after all 16 of these have moved over to this side. And if you remember, we're dispensing 4 items at a time over on the other side over there, right? So if we're dispensing 4 items at a time, and we want 64 items, then that means we have to have 16 in here, because you're going to do 16 dispenses, if that kind of makes sense, which gets you up to 64. And then we go into this next one, and if this next one is also locked, then it's got to wait for these items to go through, which this one is 32 because it's the 2-time stack. And if this one wasn't flicked, right, it didn't have the locked repeater, then it would just automatically go through and not have to wait for it. So if all of these are flicked, it has to wait for all of these hoppers to, in order, sort of go into the other one. But if they're not flicked, then it can just go all the way through. That hopefully makes sense. And the reason why we ended at 16 items, first of all, I don't know if you would need any more than 16, because you have 16 plus whatever, and if you need more items than that, then I guess you can just request again. But the more reason why we capped it out at that point is because you can't actually put more items than that into a hopper like this. You could put one more stack, but then it wouldn't fit our theme of doubling it every time. So this was as high as we could get it without going over. So we've got 4 stacks in here, which times the 4 dispensing gives you the 16 that's over there. I'm going to sleep real quick so we don't get mobs while I'm showing you this. Okay, so the signal now comes out over here after going either through all the hoppers, letting them, filter through, or just passing through, or whatever. Then it's going to come out over to this block right here. This goes out and back over this way underneath, as you can see, and that is actually going to turn off our little lever system here, right? That's what this wire is coming up, is what was on the other side. So that comes up over here, goes into this lever making signal thing to turn off the signal. Like we said, the button turns the signal on, and then after it has gone through all these waiting things, then it's going to turn it off. And that's pretty much the system of how it knows how to wait how long. But now we actually need to dispense some items, right? So what we've got is we've got that lever signal that we originally had coming down, bypassing all these waiting things. We just get the signal directly while it's waiting. And it's going to go over into where it dispenses the items, so it can start dispensing while that lever signal is on. But over here, if you can notice, we have a little contraption, and that's because it actually takes a little bit of time for the signal to get through all of this wiring. Even if there isn't any, even if it's not going to wait for any items, right? If you had all the levers turned off and it would just go through all the way, there'd be a delay of it going through this, coming back and turning itself off. So if you were to have all levers off and you were to push the button and we didn't have this mechanism here, it would actually start dispensing a couple items before it was turned off again, which is not what we want. So this is pretty much just a little bit of a delay. It doesn't let the signal through until 3 items have passed through here, which is what I calibrated it to. That's how long it takes for it to go through here, is about 3 items in a hopper's worth. So this kind of calibrates it for the delay in the system. But then the signal comes out. That's all this is just a little bit of a delay thing. You might have been able to do this a little bit better. I don't think you could have just put a whole bunch of repeaters over here, because sure, it would have slowed down the signal, but it wouldn't have stopped it if it was turned back off again. And I don't know. I think this was maybe not the most efficient, but it's the way I did it. So the signal comes out, anyways, comes over here. It's going to turn off this torch, which is going to pull up this piston, and we're going to have a little observer clock signal thing going on, so it rapidly fires, which goes down over here and goes into all these droppers. So all the droppers are always going to go on all the systems, but they're never going to have anything to drop out unless these hoppers up here are unlocked. That's the key. So the selectors over here for the different items, right now we're on cobble, right? They kind of decide which of these hoppers are locked and which ones aren't. So right now, the cobble one is turning off this light down here, and it's actually locking this repeater. So if we had flipped this the other way, right? If we didn't want the cobble, it would lock this repeater into the on side, locking all these hoppers permanently, because this repeater is never going to go off. If we have this turned off, then the repeater can go off, unlocking these hoppers and letting the items flow. So we have the same thing that goes over here with this wire, going down, and then locking. On this side, same type of thing, it locks it, but then if it's unlocked, then the wire can turn off, and the hoppers can flow. That's kind of the idea there. And I don't know if there's anything else too much for the dispensing system, but for the actual, I guess, filling system is more what I'm having struggles with right now. So let's start over here. This is where you'll actually put in the items into the machine. So if we get over here, so I have a stack of cobblestone, right? If we want to put this into the system, you place it on top of here. You've got a little hopper minecart, right? And it's over on top of 4 different hoppers. It's slightly more onto this block, so it'll actually suck the items out of this block, but it's over those 4 hoppers, so if you don't know, hopper minecarts actually pull items out of things really fast, faster than a normal hopper does. The only thing is it can't go into other things, so if you put it like over a chest, it won't actually, I don't think, dispense into the chest. It only sucks things up. It doesn't actually put things into. So you have to have these hoppers underneath to actually pull it out. So we're trying to do it as fast as we can, and it can actually keep up, this hopper minecart, sucking out more items than those hoppers can for underneath. So we're actually getting 4 sucked out of one chest at a time. It comes down here, and we've got sort of a similar thing we have underneath these chests where we have hoppers into droppers. This one's a little bit different though, because it has a comparator into every one of these droppers. So if it ever has an item in it, it's going to turn this on, which is going to turn on this signal, which is going to power this block, which is going to go into this repeater, which is going to power this, and also power this target block that, like, sort of adjacently powers the dropper. So whenever there's an item in there, it's going to power this whole thing and turn it on to dispense the item. And because of how this works with a comparator clock, it's going to continue to drop. So like if we put in, let's put in a bunch of warped blocks, you can actually see it turning on a bunch. Now because we put in so many at once right here, it's actually over pushing the signal, but you never have that problem because you would always put in one at a time and go straight into there. I guess we'll get those back in just a second. They're flying up over there. If we go up here, so that's how it dispenses down. It goes into a little water stream that goes up over there. And the idea is that we eventually need it to get sorted, right? So it's going to go down this way over some hoppers. If it gets picked up, if it does, it doesn't, whatever. And then it's going to go down this way over into a chest down here for things that didn't get sorted. So if something doesn't get sorted into the system, it just comes back. And the cool thing about this little space here is that you can actually put a shulker box full of stuff. So we have this cobblestone over here. If we just put down the shulker box, you know, you've gone on a mining trip, you've got a bunch of raw materials that you just need to get sorted, you know, you don't want to put it into your system because it's all a bunch of stuff. You just hop it on here, and it's going to pull it out 4 items at a time, and you can actually see it's super quick, the hopper minecart, and it pulls it out pretty quick. But that was really fast for 64 items. So this is all coming up over here. Now we've got our items. Now we've got to push them down over here, but I'm having trouble with the sorting and the filtering and stuff. So even if we just put a bunch of hoppers for the sorting up here, right? The problem is that always the first chest, like I said, would get more items. So this one would always have a lot more items than this one. So whenever we're trying to pull items out to, when we're requesting, we need to have equal items on both sides. Or else you'll start to have problems where if you are running low, then only items are in this one, and then you're only getting half the amount you requested for because it's only pulling out of this chest. So we've got to fix that somehow. I've got a couple ideas, but I've run through so many ideas that haven't actually worked. I don't know if this is going to work. But I'm going to get back to working on it, and once I get that figured out, maybe I'll show you guys, and then we're going to eventually clean up this area and put it into like a more actual building, because right now it's just floating around. And then we've got to also fix up this hillside, because there's all these weird cave systems that sort of dug into the ground and whatnot. And that's going to actually be a lot more fun than banging my head into this problem over and over. But I'll be back once I figure this out. And I'm back with a working design. That's correct. I figured out my my sorting slash distribution problem. So as I talked about, when you put it in here, all the items go out, up over here, down over, and now we've got 4 hoppers for sorting. So that's what this is up here. This is like the sorting mechanism up above me, and those are the 4 hoppers up there. And they go down into this double chest array, which I also realized the way I had my double chests originally wouldn't have worked anyways, because you couldn't get items out of a chest. You would only put them in, but never out. So this actually works for storing. A little bit of an oopsie on my part there. But this will store it in kind of a double rows, double chest. I don't know if this will be enough for our mass storage, because that's what kind of this is for. Currently I don't have too much mass storage, so it's fine, but if I need more eventually, my plan is to maybe go higher up, or maybe lower this down, but continue sort of how it is. I don't know, we can change it up a little bit. I don't know how much mass storage we're going to have. I don't know. But this is what I got so far. But the idea is, for the most part, those 4 hoppers can pick everything up. I'll explain that in a little bit, the most part. But it'll go down, in, back, forth, all the way down to just 1 chest. Instead of having 2 down here, it's just 1. And then a hopper minecart, because we want 4 hoppers taking out of this chest, right? We want it to be evenly out. We're having it go from a hopper minecart down to those 4. So that those 4 could be taking out of this chest, if that sort of makes sense. Because otherwise you could only put 2 hoppers underneath here. You could never take out 4 hoppers worth. And you could fix that by putting another double chest over here, but then it would never be even because there would be more items in this chest than there are in that one. But if it all funnels down to just 1 chest, it'll always be even in there because it's always the max amount. And that max amount is getting taken out by the hopper minecart, and then that's getting put into the 4 hoppers underneath, which are getting output. So this will work. And the reason why we have 2 hoppers into all of these things, right, is because we're putting 4 hoppers in and we're taking 4 hoppers out. So you never want it to clog at the top, where you only have like a hopper, 1 hopper going out of each, right? If you have 4 going in but only 2 going out, it's going to start overfilling if you put too much in at once or on top. Or it'll be the opposite true on the bottom here if you take too much out at once and you only have 2 hoppers going in. Then you're going to start eventually losing if you take too many items out. We'll probably never take out that many, but this is kind of future-proof if you always have 2 hoppers taking out and going into the next chest. So that's why we have that. We just have double array over here. So we're just storing right now cobblestone and these warped wart blocks. Cobblestone because I have a lot of it from mining out where the slime farm was, and warped wart because I have a lot of those from getting all these warped stems that I've been using all around. Which, speaking of warp stems, I've been trying out a different pattern here. It's sort of the same idea that we've been using in other places where we have the andesite next to the warp stems, but instead of them being on their side, they're facing up, and we've got these andesite, polished andesite in between. Kind of goes to checkerboard. I'm not quite sure if I like it yet or not. It's a work in progress, though. And then we've got lighting underneath here. I put basalt, like, what's it called? Polished basalt. Yeah. Up and down over here, which kind of cuts into that. I don't know if I like how the lighting is and how there's steps and whatever. I think this kind of whole floor area might get moved and changed to something else. I don't know. But if you want to test it out, we've got a whole thing full of warped wart here, right? So this has got to go into this first one, which is the warp port. I think right now we only have a little bit in the hopper minecart. So this should definitely fill it up. If we just place it in there, you can start hearing it working, dispensing all the things. And it should start coming through, and it should hopefully... Oh, you saw a little bit there. You can't even see it. It's going so fast right now. It's filling up the hopper minecart first before it fills up this double chest. So we're probably not going to see much right now. But we'll let that run for a little bit, and then we'll see how it actually shows out. This system I showed you earlier hasn't changed much from what we had before. This over here. So this is what I was going to talk about. Those 4 hoppers up there that are those sorting ones can mostly take care of the full force of items coming through it, right? Because we're having 4 hoppers dispensing out, 4 hoppers picking up. Should be perfect. Should, right? So I did 2 shulker boxes worth of cobblestone already to test it out, right? And we got back 3 in this chest over here, in the return chest, you know, when it can't pick it up. So somehow 3 of those, it was going too fast, it was too much at once or something, and 3 of them didn't get picked up. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it should be possible because there's 4 going out, 4 going in. It should math out correct, but it doesn't. So, I don't know. I tried in creative, I think it was the same problem where I had like even 5 and it was like still sometimes missing or something. I think it might have to do with the ice streams that I'm using the ice for. I'm not quite sure. If anyone knows what the problem is, why I got 3 back, and why we might even get some warped blocks back in a second, you guys can please tell me, and maybe I can fix it. But for right now, you know, because it's mass storage again, if we only miss 3 getting put into the system with 2 whole shulker boxes full, that's like a fraction of it, right? So, not that big of a problem. Right now I'm working a little bit on the outside of the building, but the reason why I haven't exactly finished it, and why it's still definitely work in progress, this outside part, is because I want to expand this eventually. Right now we've only got 2 blocks in our system, right? 2 are the ones that I have a lot of right now, where it doesn't fit into our main storage system, that's why. But eventually other blocks will have too much of, and they won't fit into our main storage system either, and we'll need to expand. So what I'm planning on is moving and making more of these units over here, moving the water stream a little bit to a better location, adding more levers over here for them, and that way we can store more items into our system. So I don't know how I want to finish it off, because I don't know how big it's going to get yet. So I'll figure that out in a little bit. Another thing is that I also want to add on our main storage to this system somehow. I would like to have both our, you know, this like main big storage and our main storage maybe like up above or in a different building somewhere, so that it's all kind of nearby instead of me having to go fly over and around to go get to it, because that's right now what I'm having to do. A little sidetracked, but you heard the dispensers stop just a second ago, so that's how fast a whole shulker box goes through. And now we've got it all in here, which is pretty cool. And let's go see if any overflowed. Let's go see. 1. So that's about right for what the cobblestone was doing also. So yeah, there's going to be a couple that don't quite work. That's one downside, is that if you don't pick it up right after it's done dispensing, right, the hopper minecart still won't be full, because it already dispensed it all out, so it's going to pick it up right away. But it'll come back over here, and then you can take it, which is pretty awesome. Here, I'll go fly around, show you guys kind of how the outside looks right now. This is what it's looking like. Yeah. I got these like little ledges, sorta, so it wasn't just a totally up and down flat box. I got this weird thing going on here to kind of go from that pillar down there to a pillar up here or something. It's still a work in progress, you know, not finished yet. But every good storage system needs a name. Every good redstone contraption, right? The one that comes to mind the most is the Nexus, which Etho made. He's another YouTuber if you don't know him already. He is much more famous than me, much better at redstone than me, a lot of things better than me. But it's sort of where a little bit of inspiration came from for this. Because his Nexus is really cool. It takes in like all his items. He just dumps them in, it stores them into a big storage area, and then he can request what items he wants out, which is kind of what I'm doing here. but on a smaller scale only for my big items. Maybe eventually we'll make something like the Nexus. I don't know. But every good storage system / redstone contraption has a name, so I've come up with one. It's called the Store More of Resources Efficiently Machine Building Place, which, if you take that as an acronym, SMORE, it is the SMORE. That's right. We've made the SMORE. Doesn't look like a s'more. I've never seen blue and black on my s'more. I mean, I have seen the white, so that kind of fits in the theme. But yeah, I'm calling it the s'more. And that's also why I want to include our main storage, because it's going to store more of everything efficiently. So instead of just having a bunch of chests like we do right now over there, maybe we will also continue to have just a bunch of chests in our main storage system, but it'll be somehow more efficient than what we're doing right now, because that's the idea with this building. So eventually I'm going to figure out exactly how big my bulk storage is going to be. Maybe I'll build out all the units and stuff, and then we'll also make our main storage system also, and then we'll be able to build out the building all the way and actually finish it off, which will be really cool. And then I'll probably fix the floor and whatever things. The main reason actually why I didn't finish making more of these storage units in preparation, like why I didn't just make, 5 more main storage units, is because I'm actually running out of iron. This is a lot of hoppers. Look at this. It takes 5 iron per. I thought I had quite a bit from mining and stuff, but I have so many more diamonds already than I do iron, it seems like. I don't know, it's crazy how much iron you need, and for a while I was like, oh, I don't need an iron farm, right? Iron farms are kind of weird how they work. I'm not a big fan of making one. For some reason they feel cheaty to me, even though it really isn't, and it's a common farm that everyone makes. But, yeah, I wasn't originally going to make one, but I think I will eventually. Maybe that'll be soon, because this takes so much iron, and if I keep on doing things like this, it's going to take even more iron. It's going to be insane. We also need some sort of tree farm, I think, better than just deforesting this whole area. I don't think I've grown any trees so far, except for some of the, spruce or whatever that aren't grown around here. So I've just been slowly deforesting this whole place. You've probably seen it episode after episode, how the forest just gets thinner and thinner. But yeah. And I would love to finish off more of this building and more of this stuff and more of these things today for the episode, but I think it's already getting pretty long. I get kind of rambly, I guess, when I start talking about this stuff. And I don't want to keep my episodes too long. And also, I need to upload it before I go to bed, because, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I record this at 1440p, because I have a 1440p monitor, and that's what I'm playing at, so might as well record it at that. And I also record it at 60 frames per second, because I can run it that high, so might as well record it at that, right? Give you guys the best quality that I can, even though my mic sounds like a potato, and I wish my mic didn't sound like a potato, but that's one of those things where, my monitor and my graphics card and all that, I would use personally, and it affects me personally, so that's why I have good quality stuff. But my mic, I talk to friends online, but they don't have too big of a problem with my mic. But when you're recording videos, it matters a little bit more, but currently I just don't have a reason to get a better mic. It's just whatever was built into my headset, and I know it's crappy, but maybe that'll get better eventually. But anyways, my video is very high quality, because I want it to be high quality. I have it, so might as well give it to you guys that way. And that means it just takes longer to upload, and also, especially process on YouTube. It takes quite a while to get the HD processed. So I usually leave it overnight, and then the next day I can upload it. And I could do it right away in the morning, but I've been kind of doing it at 11:30 Eastern time, that is. That's what I've kind of decided on now, because that gives people that are I don't know, if you watch YouTube at lunch or something, maybe that'd be a good time. Or if you do it at dinner, you could just watch it later, then you don't have to watch it right when it comes out. But I don't know, I thought that was kind of a good time. If you have other suggestions or whatnot for things, please leave it in the comments. But I'm going to wrap it up here. So I hope you're having a good day and continue to have a good day. Bye-bye.